NPC, an educator at ClearIAS. This is the third part of Decoding UPSC CSE series of videos. Today, we are going to decode the third part of GS1 syllabus, that is World History. This is exclusively a mains topic and you don't have to study world history for the prelims exam. Now let's see how important is world history for the UPSC mains exam. Compared to other topics of GS1 syllabus, lesser number of questions are generally asked from world history. Also, there has been a declining trend of asking questions from this topic. While 4 questions were asked in 2013, its number gradually declined over years to 1 question in 2016, 17 and 19 and no questions at all in 2018 and 20. In 2021 mains, there was 1 question from the world history part. So, you can expect 1 or 2 questions from this topic. Under GS1 syllabus, UPSC has given the world history syllabus as
History of the world will include events from 18th century such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc., their forms and effects on the society.
So, let's discuss the various subtopics coming under these topics in detail now. And also, know their importance and how questions were asked from each topic. Let's start with Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution being a major turning point in world history, it is very important for the UPSC mains exam. UPSC has asked questions from this area in previous years. See the questions.
1. Why the Industrial Revolution first occurred in England? Discuss the quality of life of the people there during industrialization. How does it compare with that in India at present? 2. Latecomer Industrial Revolution in Japan involved certain factors that were markedly different from what West had experienced. Under Industrial Revolution, you need to learn about decline of feudalism, beginning of Renaissance, pre-industrial Europe, factors that led to Industrial Revolution, inventions that caused technological advances, iron and steel industry, commercialization of agriculture, and impacts of Industrial Revolution.
Next is French Revolution. This is also a previously asked topic. See this question.
Explain how the foundation of modern world was led by the American and French revolutions. The important things to be learned under French Revolution include the background, different causes of French Revolution which include social, economic, political and intellectual causes. Napoleon Bonaparte, his rise, reforms and fall. Different stages of the revolution which include the meeting of a State General, beginning of the revolution, declaration of rights of man, reign of terror and end of French Revolution. Then about significance of the revolution, major leaders associated with French Revolution and its impacts on various parts of the world.
Next comes Nationalism in Europe. Questions can be asked from this area too. So, you should know the important events related to nationalism in Europe such as
rise of the nation-state system, redrawal of boundaries, unification of Italy and Germany and their similarities and differences, Vienna Congress, Metternich system. Major points related to unification of Italy include its background, Italy under Napoleon, contributions of Garibaldi, unification of Italy and the aftermath of unification. Regarding unification of Germany, you should learn its background, the rise of Prussia, significant personalities such as Otto von Bismarck, Kiewer, Franco-Prussian War of 1870-71 and results of German unification.
Next is another very important area from which UPSC has asked questions many times. That is colonialism and imperialism. See these questions.
1. The anti-colonial struggles in West Africa were led by the new elites of Western educated Africans. Examine. 2. What were the major political, economic and social developments in the world which motivated the anti-colonial struggle in India? 3. Africa was chopped into states artificially, created by accident of European competition. Analyze. Under colonialism, you should know its meaning, neocolonialism, the similarities and differences between colonialism, neocolonialism and imperialism. Related to imperialism, you need to know about its origin, purpose of imperialism, different types of imperialism, spheres of influence of major powers, Economic imperialism, differences and similarities between old imperialism and new imperialism, results of imperialism, its impacts, and imperialism in Asia and Africa.
Next is emergence of USA. This is also a previously asked topic. Say this question.
American Revolution was an economic revolt against mercantilism. Substantiate. Here, you need to know about creation of colonies, the causes of American Revolution, and major events associated with it, such as Boston Tea Party, impacts of the Revolution, influence of American Revolution on French Revolution, American Civil War, Declaration of Independence, different factors, outcomes, and events associated with it.
The two world wars and the period between those are among the focus areas of UPSC. Here is a previous year question.
To what extent can Germany be held responsible for causing the two world wars? Discuss critically. Important things that need to be learnt under First World War include various causes of the war, major events associated with First World War, their consequences and impacts on various parts of the world, Treaty of Versailles, League of Nations, its features, achievements and the reasons for failure, impact of World War I on Indian freedom struggle. You need to know major points about Russian Revolution too, which include its background, key terms, events in Russia before the revolution, the February Revolution, the October Revolution, major leaders, consequences and its impacts, post-Lenin Russia.
As I said earlier, the major events took place during the interwar period are quite important. Many questions were asked by the UPSC related to these.
1. The new economic policy 1921 of Lenin had influenced the policies adopted by India soon after independence. Evaluate. 2. What policy instruments were deployed to contain the Great Economic Depression? 3. There arose a serious challenge to the democratic state system between the two world wars. Evaluate the statement. Here, you need to know about the major events took place from the year 1919 to 1939, which include the Great Depression, rise of fascism in Italy and Nazism in Germany, about Soviet Union, that is USSR. Under Nazism, you need to know about Adolf Hitler, the rise of Nazism in Germany, different tenets of Nazism, and how it influenced other nations. Similarly, under fascism, you will be learning about its definition, different tenets of fascism, the dictatorship of Mussolini in Italy, differences and similarities between Nazism and fascism. Important points about World War II that need to be learned include different causes and course of war, major events associated with the war, their consequences, and their impacts on various parts of the world, analysis of the war, decolonization phase.
You should also be aware about the various socio-economic and political developments taken place in the Middle East from 18th century,
which include democratic reforms in the Middle East, Arab nationalism, issues and events related to Israel and Palestine.
UPSC has asked questions related to the Cold War era too.
What were the events that led to the Suez Crisis in 1956? How did it deal final blow to Britain's self-image as a world power? Here, you will be learning about the major events during the Cold War era, their impacts in different parts of the world, including India, and about India's foreign policy during Cold War era.
Disintegration of USSR is also among the important events in the world history. It may also be asked for the exam. So, you should know about
the origin of the Soviet Union, the reforms of Gorbachev, which include Glasnost and Perestroika, Revolution of 1989, the fall of Berlin Wall, and finally, the disintegration of USSR.
Events during the post-Cold War era also need to be learned. This include
global issues since 1991, integration of Europe, rise of global Islamic terrorism, and rise of China.
And finally, different political philosophies such as communism, socialism, and capitalism. Since these philosophies are specifically mentioned in the syllabus, we need to know about these as well.
Here, you should know the meaning of these terminologies, their types and examples, and relevance of capitalism in present era.
That's about the various subtopics of the world history syllabus and their importance in the UPSC mains exam. Now, coming to the study materials.
The first and foremost is obviously NCERT textbooks, especially NCERT history textbooks for class 9th, 10th and 11th. Also, old NCERT World History book Story of Civilization by Arjun Dev, Part 1 and Part 2 are also highly recommended to study world history. Other books that are helpful for learning world history include Mastering Modern World History by Norman Loff, History of Modern World by Jane N. Mathur, and History of Modern World by B.V. Rao. You don't need to study all these books. Instead, choose one, read it thoroughly, and revise it many times. You can also go through the world history study materials provided by the ClearIAS website. Reading articles in the Hindu newspaper will help you to find out current affairs related historical topics so that you can revise those topics well before exam.
Now, it's time for some valuable tips to score better in the exam. First of all, UPSC never asks minute details from world history. So, you need not focus too much on facts and figures, but just overall understanding of these topics will be enough to answer the questions. Approach the topic analytically and conceptually and not factually, as it is not part of your prelims exam syllabus. Learn the events in a chronological order. Also, establish connections between different events and dates. Cover the historical events that are mentioned under current affairs. Look for anniversaries of important world events. Also, see the countries and events in news. So, we have successfully decoded the world history syllabus of UPSC Civil Service exam. Let us know your feedback and valuable suggestions. If you like this video, subscribe our channel and support us. Thank you.